Hello, hello, hello. So, just wanted to do a little quick video. We just got through a Bible study. This month we have dedicated to forgiveness. If the things God does not forgive us for is blaspheming against the Holy Spirit and an unforgiving heart, then that's something that is extremely important and that we had to address. So the whole month of it was February forgiveness or forgiveness February. Don't recall our cute little topic name, but that's what we're talking about, forgiveness. February 6th, which was the first Wednesday of the month, we had an open discussion of our views of forgiveness, what forgiveness means to us. Just to reflect on different people we need to forgive, to reflect on situations we need to forgive, people that are connected to the situation, and a lot of times forgiving ourselves. It was a lot of different things that, a lot of emotion, a lot of things that came up that I didn't even realize that I needed to address to forgive. Um, Being completely honest, I have an issue with I'm going to say forgetting, dismissing. When someone hurts my feelings, operates in a manner that I don't agree with, it's easy for me to dismiss you. Meaning, it's not that I forgive that you hurt me, it's not that I'm telling you it's okay. It's just that I'd rather not be around you if you can't respect me enough to love or care for me enough to not hurt me or to do something I feel like I have to forgive you for. I just don't want to be around you. But when we doing that, it suppresses. And one of the young ladies at the Bible study were saying, like, after a while when you suppress something, other things are occurring in your life to the point where you buried it all the way, whereas you think it's not bothering you. A lot of different ways that you move, it could be that thing that you buried deep down inside that needs to be uprooted so you can let it go completely. Like, de-weeded. I'm not sure if that's a word, but it sounds right now. So on the 13th, we actually discussed about what forgiveness is not. And this is something that's very important because a lot of times when we're talking about forgiveness, we talk about just forgiving. We don't talk about what forgiving is not. I wrote a couple of things down where forgiveness is not letting the other person think that, like, you're not letting the other person off the hook for what they did. A lot of people, like I had to recognize with myself, that forgiving someone kind of feel like you're powerless. Um, to ask for forgiveness feels as if you're submitting to a person and giving them your will, like not knowing how they're going to receive it, how they're going to take it, how they're going to react. It's almost like I'm allowing you to have that control, because if you mess up and not forgive me, not a whole different realm of different stuff gonna come out, like anger and stuff. So this topic kind of really unsurfaced a lot of different things about myself. Forgiveness doesn't mean you have to revert to being the victim. Like, once you forgive someone, you don't have to go back to the situation at hand and keep reliving that situation. Like, you have to give it to God. Forgiveness is not reconciling with the person. If you could forgive someone and decide that, you know what, I love them, I forgive them wholeheartedly, but I prefer not to be in their presence, that's okay. You don't have to say, because I forgive you, now I have to be around you, now I have to let you in my space. Because, you could protect yourself if you've been hurt before in a certain type of way. Forgiveness is not denying reality. A lot of people say forgive and forget. Yeah, a lot of people don't necessarily forgive and forget. You forgive and you try not to rehash those feelings in the situation at times because you don't want that to come back. One thing that everyone must know is forgiveness is not just an event. Like, it's a reoccurring things. A reoccurring thing. It's just not a one-time thing. To forgive, you actually have to put your mindset on forgiving. Like, you have to want to forgive a person. A lot of people get caught up in the fact of Like right now, we were doing Bible study, we were doing forgiveness, to where I'm saying these people hurt me, I'm forgiving them. This person is saying it, and then you say, well, such and such happened to me, or you don't even say it, you play it in your mind. You say, okay, Lord, I forgive them, or whatever. But you really, you really haven't even thought it all the way through and exactly why you need to forgive them, the reasons why you need to forgive them. Sometimes you can be in a situation to where you have to forgive a person for what they did. You have to forgive a person of what you felt like you deserved. It's like a lot of different things could be connected to it, and it's just something to pray about. Yeah, something to pray about. So we had a couple of questions about like, oh wait, well, let's keep going. So on February 20th, we had the lesson of everything works together for our good. Now, the people that we need to forgive, the situations we need to forgive, and ourselves we need to forgive, we have to understand if everything works together for our good, then even when it was a horrible situation, even if it was something that we just felt like we could have just, yeah, I could have probably lived without it. It was something that needed to occur. Last week's lesson, we talked about the need of the Judah situation, when Judah turned on Jesus and kind of activated everything into the place that it needed to be. Whereas Satan thought that he won by killing Jesus, he actually, when they put him down, he rose with all power in his hands. So, regarding us, things that we go through, situations that we've been through since little kids, is actually molding us to take us to where God has us to go in the future. We don't know exactly what that place is. I like to refer back to Joseph's life, being different situations that he was in, being sold into slavery by his brothers, being locked away in a prison, and he didn't commit anything, commit a crime or what have you, or whatever. And it's like he knew the dream God gave him. And for us, we know the promise that God has given us. And if God can't lie, it has to come to pass. But Joseph's life didn't look like the dream was necessarily going to come to pass. But in the end, he was actually being molded to be exactly who he was, a king. So I hope that story alone encourages someone, because it always have encouraged me. So with that, it's like basically saying it's necessary. It's necessary for us to go through different things in our lives, and once we know that it was necessary for us to go through that, it should make it easier to forgive. And when we're forgiving, we have to understand that like everything works together for our good. One thing I do want everyone to know is once we do forgive, we have to lay it at God's altar and walk away in peace. We don't want to keep rehashing the situation. We don't want to keep reliving the situation. It happened. I had an analogy with one of the young ladies where we talked about forgiving someone, and we basically um, was giving her books. What did someone say to hurt you? We laid something on there. What? Who did you need to forgive? Laid something on there. What situation you need to forgive? Forgiving yourself, a lot of different things or whatever. But once we were done, her hands were full with all of these things, this hurt, this pain, this resentment, this hatred, this confusion, this self doubt, this a lot of different things. So then when God is trying to give us love, give us understanding, give us that peace, we're holding on to all of that baggage to where we can't catch what God is trying to throw our way. And that's love, that's peace, surpass understanding. That's the knowledge we need to gain out of the situations we're going through, and not necessarily looking at the situation itself. So with that, we just have to recognize that and let go. Like, there's a lot of different situations in my life where letting go is hard sometimes to a lot of people, because you want to hold on to something, whether it don't feel good, whether it hurts you, whether you get accustomed to certain ways, being treated certain ways, operating certain ways, not thinking highly of yourself in certain ways, to where you're just willing to accept anything and you hold on to that. And you know, if you have something in your hand, in both hands, all that trash, all that baggage, all that pain, all that hurt, all of that, you can't get the new stuff because you're still holding on to the old. So I hope that that alone helps someone. The scripture that we came out of was Mark, sorry, Mark 11:25 through 26. And it says, and whenever you stand praying, if you have anything against one another, forgive him. For your Father in heaven may also forgive you of your trespasses. But if you do not forgive, neither will your Father in heaven forgive you of your trespass. And, to me, that alone is enough. Like, if I can't forgive you, God is not going to forgive me. I don't know about anybody else, but with my thoughts alone, I have to ask for forgiveness for like maybe, I'm going to say roughly 300 to 400 times a day. Almost. I'm just rounding about. Hopefully I'm rounding down. But, honestly, so it should be easy for me to forgive. It should be easy for me to understand that everything is working together for my good. So the person that hurt me had to hurt me. It wasn't necessarily that person. It was an obstacle in my life that had to mold me, to build me to be who I am today, to continue to grow and understanding that, to look past different situations and knowing that everything is working together for my good. At times I feel like I sound crazy when I'm like, everything's working together for my good, but I have that embedded on the tablet of my heart and in my mind and my spirit, that everything is working together for my good. And I have to forgive. I have to understand that Satan is going to throw oppositions to try to block me. I have to understand that every time Satan tried to do that in the Bible, it always ended up still working together for the good. So with that being said, that makes me smile on, yeah, I forgive anybody that ever harmed me. I ask anyone that I've ever treated any kind of way, talked about, slandered, been mean to, made feel that they were less than, or anything, I sincerely would love for them to forgive me. And forgiveness is for us. Forgiveness is for the individual. It's not for the person that you need to forgive. Anyone that ever hurt me, I forgive them, and I don't need them to come and tell me, oh, I'm sorry. I don't need that. I forgive you, and I pray to God that He bless you to go in peace. And I release myself from that hurt, that anger, that bitterness, that whatever feelings I had. And yeah. So I hope this can help someone. Yeah. If you want to talk about it, y'all know my number. You can email me at IamFaithfullyFavored@gmail.com. Love y'all.